So now we're going to get into Monica Rosen, who's the sister of Samantha Wall. And she had originally spoken to the police and said that a guy by the name of Aaron Pergament, who was a person that was seeing Samantha Wall, dating Samantha Wall, was a stalker. And she had thought that Aaron Pergament would have been a good suspect for an individual that may have killed her sister. She said this to the police. This is what she said. She called him a stalker. And when she called him a stalker, she was attempting to call him a stalker for that reason, to cast doubt on his person. And then she gets on the stand and changes her mind about Aaron Pergament and what she feels about Aaron Pergament. So let's get into that testimony and listen to what she has to say.
You and Samantha were close since you were sisters, correct?
We were.
Okay, and she spoke to you about sometimes individuals she knew in her life, correct?
She did.
Okay, and she mentioned an individual by the name of Aaron Pergament, correct?
She did. She knew him for a very short time.
Very short time? Okay. And you, based upon your conversations with Samantha, you in fact told detectives that Aaron Pergament was a stalker of Samantha Wall, correct?
When I was interviewed by the detectives, it was hours after my sister was murdered. I threw out many words very casually because my state of mind was not how I normally exist in the world.
Okay.
I was in extreme shock and stress. I said he was a stalker. I had absolutely no basis for saying that whatsoever.
Okay.
I'd never even met him before.
Okay. You didn't use that same phrase in reference to other individuals that you mentioned to detectives. Would that be fair?
I did not.
Okay.
You have to understand, my sister was beloved by many people, whether she met them for 2 minutes or she knew them for her entire life. And this particular person also really liked her. And that's what I was telling the police.
Okay.
I wanted to be as cooperative as possible.
Absolutely. And you were trying to help them in their investigation, correct?
Correct.
And at that point in time, you went through your memory bank of any information that you felt could have been pertinent. Is that true?
Correct. And I also, in that same interview, said he was a very upstanding person from what I had heard about him.
Okay. But you mentioned that he was a stalker more than once during that interview, correct?
I did. And again, I said this extremely casually. I meant absolutely nothing by it. All I meant was that I knew that he liked her and he would text her, and I did not know how my sister felt about him.
Okay. And you knew they were conducting a criminal investigation, correct?
I did. I had never spoken to the police before for any reason whatsoever, so...
Okay. Would you agree that calling somebody a stalker is a pretty serious accusation?
In hindsight, again, this was hours after my sister was murdered, and I was living a nightmare, and so whatever frame of mind I had at that time was completely different from what I would do on a normal day.
Okay. Did you ever contact that same detective to supplement your report and say, Detective, I apologize on what I said about Aaron Pergament. I want to set the record straight. He's not a stalker.
I talked to the detective many times, and I don't recall if that specific sentence came out of my mouth.
Okay.
Now, while I can appreciate everything that she's saying, yes, she was under stress, she was shocked. I completely believe that, and I agree with that. However, that does not take away from the fact that she was, in fact, being questioned for a criminal investigation regarding the homicide of Samantha Wall. And during that investigation, she referred to Aaron Pergament as a stalker. She did that in an attempt to make them go and investigate him. Her belief was that he could have possibly been the person that murdered her sister. Then she said that she had no basis to have said that about him. Well, if you had no basis to say that about him, like, why did you say that? Like, I get it that you were under stress, but, like, that's a lofty accusation to make against someone. And then she said, but she had never met him before. So if you never met the guy before, like, under what pretense are you referring to this man as a stalker? It makes no sense. But she knew it was an investigation, and she said something to them that she had no basis to say. That means it's a lie, guys. That's what that means. And she said that she mentioned casually that he was a stalker, and she meant nothing by it. That's a lie. You meant something by it when you said it. When you said it, you meant something by it. You meant to have them investigate him in connection with the homicide of your sister. So you did mean something by it. And you, in fact, I mean, I don't know, you're saying now you had no basis to say it. But again, this was during the course of a criminal investigation. So the same way that they said that Bolanos lied about an investigation into larcenies into motor vehicles, and that's how he ended up in prison, then where is her consequence for lying to the police or having no basis to say the things that she said when this was an investigation into the homicide of Samantha Wall? All I'm trying to do here is show the difference in treatment that people received during their questioning of the police and sometimes during their testimony at trial, because the judge during sentencing, again, she spoke about Bolanos' testimony during trial and was like, oh, you should win a gold medal in the Olympics for the lies you told. But what about these other people? That's the point here. What about everybody else? Because like that juror said when he was questioned by the news about Jeffrey Herbsman not having any consequence for the lies he told, he said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Well, evidently not. That does not stand true with anything that I'm showing you guys so far, but let's continue. Stay tuned.